And we are back. Welcome back to another episode. Mission Mondays, the Morning Huddle. Run my intro. Mission Mondays, the Morning Huddle. Let's get it from the top. Wake up. Rise and grind. Get your shot together. Welcome to the Morning Huddle. Mission Monday presents. I am your host, B Rich. You know, we here every Monday morning talking about nothing but sports. And we got a good show, a great show for y'all this morning. As y'all know, the NFL had their preseason week 1. So we gonna dive right into it and let's get into it. So first quarter, triangle offense. And we want to talk, and we're talking about the influence of the rookie quarterbacks throughout the NFL week 1. There was a lot of rookie quarterbacks this week that did their thing. Hold on, I'm pulling up some things. But yeah, it was a lot of rookie quarterbacks. They did their thing. Shout out to Shedeur Sanders. He made his NFL rookie debut with the Cleveland Browns. I'm about to pull up his numbers. I want to say he completed 6 out of 8 passes and led them to opening touchdown drive. I don't think he threw for the touchdown. I think they pulled him out right before, but he led them to the drive that scored a touchdown. So Shedeur Sanders had a great first rookie opening week for the Cleveland Browns. He looked real good out there throwing the football. He looked real natural in the pocket. I think he's gonna have a pretty good rookie year. I don't know if he's gonna win Rookie of the Year. That's up in the air. But I think he's gonna have a pretty good rookie year this year coming out. Um, yeah, hold on, I'm about to pull up some stuff. But yeah, all the rookie quarterbacks, they look like they on their way. They on their way. I mean, of course you got to give them time. Of course you got to give them time, but I really like how a lot of the rookies look. You had Cam Ward also. Cam Ward, he had a great debut. The number one overall pick, Cam Ward, for the Tennessee Titans. He had also had a great rookie uh, debut for the Tennessee Titans. He threw for he threw for he threw for 5 for 8 for 67 yards and a touchdown, a 27-yard touchdown to Calvin Ridley. So he looked it pretty good. I want to let me see Shedeur. I got my stats up. Oh, Shedeur threw for 2 touchdowns. So I want to correct myself. Shedeur threw for 2 touchdowns. So he looked it real good. It was a I'm about to bring everything up too, so let me pull that stuff up on my end. But we talking about NFL preseason week 1, morning huddle. Morning huddle. Week 1, NFL preseason. I got to see how a lot of teams look this week. So I'm probably gonna give my predictions for the season. I'm gonna watch this week also. That'll be like 2 good weeks. And I know they probably gonna let the starters rest like the other preseason. You know how they do. Like they let the starters rest like the other preseason games. So I probably just need to see another week, and then next week I'm gonna come on here and give my give my NFL predictions for the upcoming 2025-2026 NFL season. But y'all let me know in the comment section, how did the teams look? Like, how did your team look? And in general, did any player stand out the opening preseason debut week? Did any player stand out? Any team stand out? And how did your team look? So y'all let me know in the comment section how that look for y'all. But I definitely see the rookie quarterbacks. I definitely see they influence already in week 1 of the season early. We gonna pull it up. Who else? Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart. Man, he had a great first week preseason week 1. We gonna get into everybody breakdown week 1. So I'm pulling up some stuff. Y'all give me like 1 second. Let me see. Give me 1 second. 1 second. I gotta do one thing. Why'd you not pulling up? And I ain't gonna lie, that Cleveland Browns jersey about to sell too. That's what we gonna get into that. Hey, that Sanders, that Cleveland Brown jersey, that's about to sell. I can already see that. Like, that's about to sell. That jersey look, yeah. Like I like Brown. I like Sanders. I like Sanders in that jersey. They kind of that white and orange, that white, orange, and brown. That, yeah. It kind of fit him. It kind of fit him. What I want to do? I want to do that. So yeah, Shedeur Sanders opening week. Like I said, he threw for 2 touchdowns. He looked good in the pocket, and I really think bruh is about to cause I know he had a lot. He had a lot of hype coming in. You know what I mean? He had a lot of hype coming in, and people want to see if he kind of live up to the hype. You know what I mean? They want to see. They want to see how he do, and want to see if it's just all talk or is he the real deal. And I think Sanders gonna be pretty solid. Pretty solid. This just the preseason though. You know, it's a whole nother animal. It's a whole nother beast when them starters get in and that season start and it speed up because the game gonna speed up. See, right now he playing on 50%. You know what I mean? He playing on 50%. He not playing at that level. Them starters not in the game ain't on 100%. You know, if this was Madden, he ain't playing on rookie. He playing on like all star. He ain't playing on all Madden though. He ain't playing on all Madden yet. You know what I'm saying? If this Madden, he playing on like, I give him like all star. You know, I give him like all star. I mean all pro. I said all star. I'm tripping. I mean all pro. I give him all pro. They playing on like all pro because it is the NFL. So I say college ball was like pro. It wasn't like rookie. Because D1 college, that's almost you getting ready for the pros. So in Colorado, he was playing on like pro. Now, preseason NFL, he kind of playing on all pro. Week 1, if he's a starter by week 1, that's all Madden. That's NFL. These are the top athletes. You playing on all Madden now, bro. So he looked pretty good on all pro, like preseason level. We'll see how he progress though as the game gets going and gets faster and goes all Madden speed when you got them starters in there. We'll see how he do, but you know, he looked pretty good right now though. He looked pretty good for right now. I'm liking what I'm seeing out of Shedeur. So um definitely like what I see out of bro. I like what I see out of bro. Let me get into just a quick little recap of him. Cleveland won that game too. They won that game too. 30-10. They beat the Panthers. So, oh no, we're not doing that. I want to see that. I want to see that article. Hold on. Also, shout out, like I said, Cam Ward. Cam Ward had a good. Cam Ward, who was the number 1 overall pick. Like I said, he threw for 67 yards in a TD. So, you know, he looked pretty good for Tennessee. You know, they all rookie young players. So let me do this now. So Tennessee #1 overall pick Cam Ward had a solid preseason. He showed excellent rapport with Calvin Ridley. They lost 29-7 to Tampa Bay, but Coach Brian Callahan was pleased with the rookie quarterback's performance, but noted he still got some things to clean up or to work up on. You know, he's saying Cam certainly hasn't arrived yet. You know, he has a lot of things to still work on, but it was definitely a good start. You know, he was definitely productive. He just got to keep putting that work in. You know, definitely got to keep putting that work in. Putting that work in on the field, off the field. You know, game room. Got to watch film. You know, watch game film and and all that, and you know, definitely still got a lot to learn about the game, but definitely, he looked it pretty solid, and that's all you really want to see from your rookie. You know, rookie QB. That's all you can ask for him, just to get back there, toss the ball, get comfortable in the pocket, get used to them grown NFL men. You know, full speed ahead, trying to knock your head off. You know, because that's what they do for a living. They trying to knock your head off. So definitely, like I said, definitely, that's all you really can ask from your rookie QB, your rookie QB quarterback. Ward's evening began with he had 2 incompletions and quick 3 and out. His next drive, he found Ridley 3 times, and they marched 75 yards over 11 plays. In the 2 drives, Cam went 5 out of 8, 67 yards, and 81.9 passer rating. The top pick of the 2025 NFL Draft showcased his strong arm, able to muscle the ball all over the field. He showed good demonstration of accuracy and processing in his first NFL experience. They're saying that he still has a lot of work to do, including his footwork in the pocket. All in all, the Tennessee have to be pleased that the moment didn't look too big for the face of the franchise. Ward will get more significant reps this week as the Titans conduct joint practices in Atlanta with the Falcons before Friday's second preseason game. So that's all you really could ask of your rookie QB. That's all you really could ask him at the end of the day. Just to go out there and just, play ball. At the end of the day, that's all you really could ask of him. Also, I want to talk about. Hold on. I want to talk also. So Cam Ward, the number one overall pick in this year's NFL. Looked it pretty solid. Sanders looked it pretty good in his Cleveland Browns. But I really want to talk about Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart. So give me 1 second to pull up Jackson Dart. I think he really surprised a lot of people. I think he surprised a lot of people. Let me see. And y'all see I'm representing too. Hold on. Y'all see I got it on too. Yeah, got that. Yeah. Them New York Giants. What you know about them New York Giants? Hold on, let me see. So rookie quarterback Jackson Dart for the New York Giants. I believe he went first round. He was like the 25th pick in the draft. So Jackson Dart had an impressive preseason debut on Saturday. The first round rookie QB completed 12 of 19 passes for 159 yards and a TD, while leading the Giants 3 consecutive scoring drives in the second quarter of Saturday's preseason 34-25 win over the host Buffalo Bills. Impressive as Dart was, it wasn't surprising to Giants head coach Brian Daboll. Just about what I thought he would do, Daboll said after the game. Efficient, effective, aggressive, confident in the pocket. Some stuff we can work on, but he's doing good. In an outing that could inch him closer to becoming Russell Wilson's primary backup, Dart highlighted his day with a gusty 29-yard strike to LeJordan Humphrey for the Giants' first TD of the afternoon. The rookie QB stood in the pocket hold on. The rookie QB stood in the pocket despite Bills defensive tackle TJ Sanders breathing down his neck and eventually tagging the QB just after he delivered a perfect ball. The fiery 22-year-old was quick to shake off the hit and celebrate his first score alongside his teammates. So Jackson Dart looked like he's gonna be right now. Russell got the job because they just got Russell in New York. You know what I'm saying? So Russell got the job, but he looked like he definitely could back up Russell if Russell known to get kind of hurt, kind of banged up throughout the season because Russell Wilson not the biggest quarterback. Russell Wilson not the biggest quarterback. I don't even know if Russell might be 6'1", and I'm being nice. He probably 6 feet. So, and he not the biggest guy. So Russell Wilson known to get banged up throughout the season. So if Russell goes down or if anything happens to him, they got Jackson Dart, maybe the rookie QB to come in. So you definitely want to see him look pretty good in the preseason, just as a backup, but just if anything goes down with Russell and he has to come in and step in for a couple of weeks or the rest of the year or whatever till Russell gets healthy. So you definitely want to see your rookie QB do his thing. And like I said, the rookie QBs was really the headline for this week, or that was really the storyline for this week. They really showed you like they can handle the moments, all of them. You know, they really showed you like they kind of ready for this. It was a lot of talk, like with Cam being number one. Oh, shout out Travis Hunter too. I know he's not a rookie QB, but just all the rookies doing their thing. I gotta pull up Travis Hunter. Gotta pull up Travis. Hold on. But yeah, Jackson Dart. Know them Giants. You know what I'm saying? Them Giants. Yeah, them Giants. I had to come on here and represent, So yeah. We about to see about Travis Hunter, because Travis played. I want to say Travis played both offense and defense this preseason game. They played them on both sides of the ball, and it's a lot of talk. Is Travis gonna be able to play both sides of the ball the whole season? I definitely think they gonna, he primarily gonna be used as the DB as on defense. He primarily gonna be used as a DB, but I definitely think he gonna play like I say about 75 to maybe 20, 75, 25. So 75% defense or DB and 25% offense or a wide receiver. They're gonna come bring him in. Or it might be like a little bit higher, like 70-30 defense, offense, but primarily he's gonna be on the defensive side of things, DB, and they gonna bring him in though on offense because they paying him, so you might as well use him. He a weapon, if not just for the decoy factor. That's what I'm saying. So I see him doing about 70-30. 70% defense, 25%. 30% offense. I'm gonna get his official numbers though. So the Jacksonville Jaguars played the Pittsburgh Steelers. Travis Hunter plays wide receiver, cornerback, and Jaguars preseason debut excites NFL fans versus Steelers. And I like to give credit. So this is Bleacher Report, and this is Paul Kasabin, and yeah, August he did this. That's who this author is of this article. So if you want to go back and check it out yourself. But Jacksonville Jaguars star rookie Travis Hunter made his preseason debut on Saturday against the visiting Pittsburgh Steelers. He played wide receiver with the starters, but later suited up as cornerback with the second teamers. Travis Hunter in preseason week 1. Hunter's night is seemingly wrapped with four minutes left in the first hour. He played 92% of snaps with the first team offense, 11-12, and did not play with the second team offense. He did not play with the first team defense on their long defensive drive. He played 100% of snaps with the He played 100%. I'm gonna still read the rest of the article. He played 100% of the snaps with the second team defense on the second and third drives on defense. And that is the chart, or that's That's the snap breakdown. So the chart, how many he played on offense, how many he played on defense, total snaps on offense and total snaps on defense. And the gold or the yellowish color is the passing down snaps, and the white color is the rundown snaps. He played 18 snaps, 10 on offense, 8 on defense. He had 2 catches for 9 yards and a missed tackle. Understandably, Hunter did not play much in the preseason, as the Jags certainly have greater plans awaiting the reigning Heisman Trophy winner and number 2 overall pick in the draft. Hunter did get in the box score early with a 4-yard catch before later adding a 5-yarder. So yeah, they use Travis on both sides of the field, a dual weapon, and that's exactly what he is, a dual weapon, and you got to use him on both sides of the field. Got to use him on both sides of the field. He too special of a player not to use him on both sides of the field. So I definitely want to. Travis Hunter already looked super comfortable in that Jags offense. Amazing after catch breakaway ability, terrific route runner, silky smooth running, change gears, knows how to create an open target for the ball to come his way. Hashtag Duval. Travis Hunter doesn't have to be a star on either end to still impact the game at a star level. So last season, when he was at the University of Colorado in college, Hunter caught 96 passes for 1,258 yards and 15 TDs. He also rushed for an additional score on defense. He had 36 tackles, 4 interceptions, and 11 pass breakups. In April, the Jags traded up from 5th overall to number 2 to get Hunter. Jags general manager James Gladstone explained why. You can count however many drafts you want to, and there are players who have the capacity to alter a game. There are players who have the capacity to alter the trajectory of a team. There are very few players who have the capacity to alter the trajectory of the sport itself, Gladstone said per ESPN. Travis, while has a lot to still learn in our eyes, has the potential to do just that. So the journey continues for Hunter, who provided a glimpse of what's to come in Jacksonville. The Jags' next preseason game is set for Sunday, August 17, and they playing at New Orleans Saints. So we will get to see part 2 of the man that is Travis Hunter. We'll get to see part 2, or we'll get to see more in addition to Travis. So, you know, we'll see how that plays out. We're gonna check out some more from the preseason before we switch topics. I got a couple of more things I wanna highlight in the NFL preseason opener before we switch topics. So also I want to highlight the New York Giants. That's why I represented today with the New York Giants and their defensive defensive front. So the New York Giants D line sets the tone in preseason opener, and that was highlighted by their rookie also Abdul Carter. So Abdul Carter. So that was highlighted by their rookie Abdul Carter, who looked excellent in the Giants. Like the Giants defense looked like crazy. They might have one of the top defenses coming into this upcoming NFL season. The defense looked at that defensive line. That's why I really want to highlight that defensive line for the Giants. You know what I mean? The whole defense are really like but Abdul Carter wanted to put his 100 batting average online. The electric rookie was disappointed Saturday that he got to play just 6 snaps with the starting Giants defense in his NFL debut, and that's all. And that's about all there was to be bummed about pauses. After he generated 3 quarterback pressures on his 3 pass rushes. Quote, I had fun, Carter said after the Giants beat the Bills 34-25 in the preseason opener. I wish I got to play a little bit more, but I'm glad we got the win. Carter won 2 matchups on an outing against 4-time Pro Bowl left tackle Deion Dawkins. Once Carter beat Dawkins to the inside and forced quarterback Mitch Trubisky to spin into his arms and spin into the arms of Robertson Harris. Another time, Carter coupled Dawkins' helmet and then dropped low and bent the edge to force Trubisky up in the pocket. I treat every opponent the same, Carter said. It doesn't matter who I'm going against. I like to get work. I like to get work and put my best against anybody. And then what might be the scariest here for opposing offense to watch it, Carter lined up at the 3 technique defensive tackle and beat right guard Osiris Tolerance to the inside with his first step and club move. Tolerance could have been called for holdings as Trubisky threw the ball quickly. In joint practices Tuesday and Wednesday against the Jets, Carter will resume a Penn State practice rivalry against left tackle OU Fushuna, the 2024 first-round pick. Quote, I hope next week will come a little bit quicker, head coach Brian DeBoer said, so we can get back out there going live, tackling, and sacking the quarterback. So the top 5 pick, Abdul Carter, in his first action as an NFL pro, put some pressure on the opposing quarterback. So Giants might be walking into the season with one of the best defenses in the league. That's really gonna help out Russell Wilson on his end, on the offensive end. So if that defense do their job, then Russell can just come in and game manage. And Russell is one of the best at game managing. When healthy. So if Russell can stay healthy and that defensive can come in and do their part, Giants still don't got no chance of winning that NFC East though. I think them Eagles got that locked up. I think them Eagles got that locked up. Right quick before I change one more time before we switch over. Yeah, you got the Eagles, you got Dallas Cowboys, you got Philadelphia Eagles, Dallas Cowboys, Washington Nationals, and you got New York Giants. So I still don't think the Giants got no chance of winning that NFC East, bro. It's just too competitive in that NFC East right now. You got the reigning Super Bowl champions, Philadelphia Eagles, them Washington Commanders with Jaden Daniels. Washington Commanders and Jaden Daniels. So I think it's Eagles reigning champs, Jaden Daniels and Washington Commanders second. The third, my Cowboys and them Giants. And even though I'm a Cowboys fan, I just, I had to throw the Giants hat on this morning for the morning huddle. Mission Mondays. But the third, I'm going to give an edge to them Cowboys. I'm going to give an edge to my Cowboys. I'm going to put Giants number 4. Even though Giants got Russell Wilson. They did upgrade, and the defense looked pretty solid, I'm still going to give the edge to Dak and the Cowboys. Especially because I think the Cowboys going to do the deal. Do the deal to get Bro on defense. I think he's going to get his deal done. But yeah, before we switch over, one more topic about the NFL preseason that I noticed that really stood out to me that I already see gonna be a problem. So San Francisco 49ers reveals early concerns in NFL preseason debut. So the 49ers, before the preseason game, the 49ers, I had the 49ers kind of up there. As far as on the NFC side. I had the 49ers top. Eagles number 1. I had 49ers and Washington like 2 and 3 or 3 and 2. It depends. I was going back and forth. Definitely Eagles number 1 in that NFC though. I had kind of 49ers like I had them top 3. I had Eagles and it was like Washington and San Fran. saying, friend, I'm saying this right now early. Y'all better figure something out, cause y'all looking like a top three on that NFC side. But now that we seen some footage from and we know all the starters didn't play. We know certain things. People still doing contract negotiations and this, that, and the third. But it was just it was noticeable though. It was noticeable. I'm pulling up them 49ers right now. Yeah, Kyle Shanahan, like you gotta see what's going on with them 49ers. You gotta see what's going on with them 49ers, bro. Good. Y'all ain't gonna hold up, bro. Kyle Shanahan reveals what frustrated him in 49ers preseason opener. So he's saying these are some areas they need to improve on. And this article right here was written by Henry Chill, and this was for Sports Illustrated. This article right here was for Sports Illustrated. So 49ers, unmistakably, Kyle Shanahan wasn't best pleased with the offense after a blowout 30-9 preseason loss to the Denver Broncos. With the exception of the first quarter touchdown, it was the only offensive sequence that resulted in the end zone. So, offense made too many mistakes. Shanahan suggested that the 49ers offense made too many mistakes, and he's right. Jones' 8-play drive in the first quarter was the only successive conversion. The 49ers defense added the final 2 points on a safety as Bo Nix was flagged for intentional grounding in the end zone. Although Jones' role as QB2 is virtually secured, the 49ers the 49ers would still expect much stronger performances from Carter Bradley and Tanner Mordecai moving forward. The final stats speak for themselves. Quote, yeah, it was frustrating. I like how we started out, but after that, there wasn't much to be excited about. Shanahan admitted post-game to the media. We didn't get as many first down, 4 turnovers, the 3 picks, the fumble. I felt I felt when we did make a play, whether the quarterback did, then the receiver was off. I felt we made too many mistakes, and it was frustrating. And it was a frustrating 2.5 quarters. So them 49ers got a lot to work on going forward. On the flip side, the 49ers chief expressed approval of Jones' performance, particularly his execution of his team-only touchdown. I thought Matt seemed like he performed well. I like how he came out. It was a challenge, especially going against the defense. Had a bunch of guys out there too. I love the first drive. The next one, I think we went 3-and-out, but I was happy with Matt today. So the rookie, Jordan Watkins, had a standout moment when he had a 50-yard bomb that he caught for a touchdown during the touchdown drive. And he still has time to develop his consistency within the offense. The wide receiver position is especially important this season due to existing injuries and a lack of projected return dates for Brandon Aku and January Jennings. Shanahan highlighted both the strengths and weaknesses in Watkins' debut performance for the organization. Quote, I thought he did some good things. I mean, especially that 50-yard catch, but he had some plays where he struggled to get in that pick. He had a busted route on that, which was a big one. So making that big play on the first third down of the game in our third play is what allowed us to get the opening drive with the score. It was kind of a typical rookie game. There was some positive in it, but a lot of stuff that we can challenge him with when we watch the tape with him Monday. So that was your takeaway for the opening. Hold on. Yeah, that was the takeaway for the opening NFL season, and that was just a snapshot, and that was just the rookies. And like how I said, that was just mainly I would just want to highlight the rookies because I felt like they really did their thing. So I definitely want to highlight the rookies, and it was a lot from it was a lot more I can unpack with the first season. But of course, people that was just the first week, and people knocking off the rust from the summer and getting back into just getting back into playing the sport, not playing the sport, but getting back into being out there on the field. That's what I meant to say. Being out there on the field. So that was just being out there on the field and just getting back out there, getting used to playing the game. So I'm just not gonna dive deep on the first week. I'm just want to highlight the rookies, a couple of the rookies. Like I said, Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter, a couple of the first round picks. What I seen, especially the quarterbacks, and just keep it light. I see what it looked like when more of the starters play this week, and that'll kind of give me a good analysis. That'll be enough for me to get my predictions, because the team's gonna be what the team's gonna be, and ain't too many. After next week, ain't too much going on after next week. And the last preseason game, the starters gonna sit. They ain't really gonna play. They might play, but you know how they do. They normally like just they'll play like till halftime, then they'll kind of sit or whatever. So I just need to see like one more week of preseason, and I said by next week I'll be giving my prediction. But y'all let me know what y'all thought of the opening week of the NFL in the comments below. And with that, we gonna keep it moving. We gonna keep it moving. We gonna get into our next section. Hold on, but before we get into our next section, on the morning huddle, you know what I'm saying? Hold on, y'all can see that. On the morning huddle, yeah. Get your shot together. You see what I'm saying? Get your shot together. Mission Mondays, the morning huddle with your host, Be Rich. That's the quote for this Monday. Get your shot together. Wake up and get your shot together. And replace shot for another S word. Get your shit together. I also want to say before we move on to our next part of our segment, hold on. I also want to say before we move on to the next part of our segment, if you're viewing this right now on Instagram Live, our broadcast will be ending on Instagram Live in about 2 minutes. And that's not because of my doing. That's just how things work in life. So if you want to continue watching this broadcast, or if you could just switch over to YouTube or our Twitch channel or our Kick channel to continue watching our broadcast this morning, Mission Mondays, the Morning Huddle. But yeah, we will be ending on Instagram Live in about 2 minutes. So just letting you know that if you're watching this live on Instagram Live right now, our broadcast will be ending over on there. So if you would just head over to YouTube or Kick or Twitch to keep enjoying our broadcast. But with that being said, let's continue on to our next part of our segment, Mission Mondays, the Morning Huddle. And for our next part of our segment, so the NFL and matter of fact, spotlight me. The NFL and ESPN have agreed they made a huge announcement and they have agreed to a mega deal. So we will be clapping that up. The deal includes ESPN gains NFL Network. They also gain red zone and fantasy assets in return for giving the NFL 10% equity stake in ESPN. Again, I will read that headline and opening statement before I get into the specifics. The NFL and ESPN have agreed on a major deal. ESPN gains NFL Network, Red Zone, and fantasy assets in return for giving the NFL a 10% equity stake. And I think this is a huge deal, not only for ESPN, but for the NFL also. And now I will get into the actual details of it. So let's do it. Morning Huddle, Mission Mondays. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. Like, comment, share, subscribe. It's free and it helps the content go a long way. So thank you all for doing that. But let's get into the deal. So the NFL, the ESPN NFL mega deal looks and feels like a big trade. So they grading the participants, and this particular article, I believe, hold on. So I believe this particular article is from the New York Times. So this article right here is from the New York Times, and we're just gonna break it down a little bit and get into it. No, I don't like that. Leave it how I had it. I might can move this. So this article for the New York Times was wrote by Dan Shanoff, and let me move this. I'll bring it back up if I need to. The dust is settled from the formal announcement of the blockbuster deal between ESPN and the NFL, with the league swapping NFL Network linear rights to Red Zone, NFL Fantasy, and other content assets to ESPN for a 10% equity stake in the network. This isn't a traditional sports trade in which teams exchange star talents or draft picks, but it invoked that field. Two powerhouse franchises trying to improve through strategic additions and diversity. Divestors. I apologize. I just with the caveat that the agreements could be a year from formally approval. Let's do what we normally would around any big trade and offer evaluations through trade grades. So they graded ESPN. They gave ESPN an A, and as longtime motive Nathanson media analyst Robert Fishman simply put it, this is a major win for ESPN. The network is now fused at the hip with the most valuable league in sports, which is a heck of a hedge against the NFL ever even considering a split. That surety, along with NFL Network being added to its portfolio, turns into new leverage when ESPN negotiate distribution fees with cable companies or bundled streamers. Excuse me. Most importantly, as ESPN launches its new direct-to-consumer service, it would have the tonnage of NFL Network content on top of ESPN's existing NFL coverage, which wasn't exactly skimpy. The carryout of red zone access to NFL Fantasy's huge database of super fans and an anchor tenant of the most popular programming in sports. Remember, while the new ESPN direct to consumer service is most valuable to fans who don't have cable or bundled streaming services, ESPN will be thrilled to have every fan with a cable or YouTube TV account consume their content directly through the network own app at no additional cost. So it's not going to cost you extra if you have cable service providers or YouTube TV content. So this is really gonna expand their reach when it comes to just connecting with the different fans out there. It's really gonna help connect their reach with all the fans because they're gonna have access to everything now. So it was just like a huge deal. That NFL network is is big. red zone big. Red zone. Get your highlighting all the games and just all the action around the league. So the NFL for the NFL, they gave them a graded score of. There was a few big deals in its long history in which the league doesn't end up a big winner. In this case, the NFL offloads media assets it has been trying to shed for years. NFL Network and the lease on the real estate that houses it, while retaining ownership of key elements like NFL Plus and a digital distribution rights for Red Zone. It has a new partnership with a company highly motivated to give NFL Network even more prominence. It retained flexibility to continue to sell additional live game packages. See down below. Last but certainly not least, the 10% equity could turn into a meaningful exit opportunity if and when Disney spins off ESPN into its own entity. So they saying that 10% equity really gonna affect that 10% equity really gonna affect. Hold on, y'all can't see. Cause they saying in the long run, Disney, the parent company, Disney actually owns ESPN. If you don't know that on the business side, Disney actually owns ESPN. They have ownership in ABC. Disney is one of the major players when it comes to entertainment, period. Like, if not the biggest major player. You know what I mean? Like, Disney is definitely a top dog when it comes to entertainment. And if you didn't know, up under Disney, ESPN, Disney is actually the parent company to ESPN, which would fall up under Disney. So they have all the rights, and they saying eventually Disney is gonna make ESPN into its own entity. Or he's gonna spin ESPN off, and eventually Disney is gonna make ESPN its just own, you know, own turn that into a parent company. So, or just spin it off and make its own thing all together. So with this mega deal that ESPN and NFL did, they saying it's a great look for the NFL. They also graded the NFL Network. So, you know, and the deal is not actually finalized. It's going to take about a year to finalize this deal. But they're just saying this is like one of the biggest major, you know, deals to happen in sports. Being that the NFL is the biggest brand, or the NFL is the biggest player when it comes to sports, if that makes sense. Like league wise, the NFL generates more money than baseball or the Major League MLB. The NFL generates more money than the NBA, which is the pros on the basketball level. NFL generates more than hockey, the NHL. NFL generates more than NASCAR, which is another sport. Like the NFL generates more than Major League Soccer, MLS. Like, the NFL generates more than college football, NCAA. Like, the NFL is the biggest, league. So this is like it's gonna take time to finalize this deal. But it's a major deal. It's a major. ESPN is like the leader when it comes to covering sports, and you got the biggest lead. Now all that is gonna be on ESPN. You're gonna have Red Zone over there. NFL Network gonna be over there. Don't be surprised if you see more games being broadcasted on ESPN and ESPN2. Just to be honest. So the NFL Network, they gave the NFL Network a score of a B+ for the NFL Network. So the NFL Network, it's saying ESPN is expected to invest in improving the NFL Network programming. In the ESPN family of networks, NFL Network could be looked upon similar to the SEC Network. The SEC offers programming 24/7 about the league, while ESPN, the main channel, dedicates significant airtime to it as well. The same sort of setup with on-air personalities being used across brands is very possible. As with any consolidation of two production companies, it remains to be seen how full staffing will be divided between ESPN and NFL Network, and how on-air talent at NFL Network will overlap with ESPN NFL talent. So for the cable companies, they gave them a grade of B-. You know, and why they gave them a grade of B- is already under some serious subscription pressure from cord cutters and consumers who never bothered to sign up for cable. Providers now have to navigate and empower ESPN, which will include NFL Network as part of the bundle of channels it will require cable companies to pay for. Also, ESPN is now the distribution partner for Red Zone, a popular cable upsell. One potential benefit, because cable subscribers will get access to ESPN's apps and services without paying a $30 monthly direct-to-consumer fee. Those customers, no consumers, might figure it's worth it just to stick with cable rather than cut the cord and have to cobble together a slew of individual subscription, all of which might roll up to more than what they're trying to pay. They're paying for a cable or streaming bundle. So they saying in the long run, it could help the cable companies, because people might just stick with the cable instead of cutting the cable and getting these different subscriptions. It might just be cheaper just to stick with the cable. You know what I'm saying? Stick with a service provider. So for the grade of CBS, Fox, and NBC, they gave them a grade of incomplete. It remains to be seen if the NFL will exercise a channel of control opt-out, with CBS related to Skydance buying the network's parent company, Paramount. Making things even more interesting, the NFL owns a piece of Skydance and has been a decades-long partner with CBS. Yes, that's now two partner networks in which the NFL has an ownership stake. Either way, all the rights packages are up for renegotiation near the end of the decade. The three traditional broadcast partners have the inside track and every incentive to retain their NFL deals, and while they may keep their existing relevant games, the price will undoubtedly go up with little in the way of a hometown discount beyond a track record of being good partners. So before I wrap this up, I just want to talk on the streaming services providers, and I also want to talk about Red Zone. So I just want to touch on the streaming services providers. So everybody out there with not traditional cable, but streaming services, I want to talk about how this deal might affect you and red zone before we wrap up this section. So for the streaming services providers, and streaming services providers are, things like Netflix, you might have YouTube TV, you know what I'm saying? You might have Amazon, Apple TV. They gave them all a grade of A with this deal. Tucked away in the fine print of ESPN deal announcement was a subtle shift of game inventory that will leave the league with a small but extremely valuable cachet of games that can be packaged for license to deep-pocketed streaming services. The league already has the Thursday night deal with Amazon, so Thursday night is exclusive. Thursday night games are exclusive on Amazon. They have a deal with Amazon for Thursday night games. The Christmas deal with Netflix. So now the Christmas Day games are on Netflix, and coming in a few weeks is first game airing exclusively on YouTube. So when the season kicks off, YouTube will be exclusively airing its first game on YouTube TV. Apple has shown an appetite to spend on sports rights, so they're saying Apple might eventually get exclusive rights or a deal with the NFL where you might have, some games on Apple TV exclusively. If new games, probably international, but never underestimate the league's creativity to create new TV real estate, are available, the streamers will want in. It will come at a premium price for sure, but one they still can afford easily. So they saying they might get into some international games, or you might see international games being played, and they might have and like streaming services like Apple TV might do a deal where, like how they I know to start the college football last year, the NCAA, Georgia Tech and somebody, I can't think of who they played. Was it Georgia Tech and who was Florida State? I want to say it was Georgia Tech and Florida State, and they played their home opener in London. Y'all let me know in the comments if I'm right or not. But if I'm doing this all live on the spot. I'm not. Yeah, this all from up here. I want to say it was Georgia Tech and Florida State, and they played in London last year for the NCAA home opener. So for college football home opener last year, it was Georgia Tech and Florida State, and I know for sure Georgia Tech won the game because I watched the game. I just can't remember exactly. They played Florida State. Yeah, I'm going with Florida State. But my point in saying that is you might see some international games being played more often, and these streaming services might do certain deals with the NFL to get you might see games played in London, NFL games in London, and Apple TV might do an exclusive deal with the NFL to, have licenses and rights to that game. Or you might see games in Mexico. You might see games played in Canada. You might see games played in, just any state. Well, I mean, not any state. My apology. Like any country, you might see games played in Southern America. Brazil, Rio de Janeiro, you might see games played down there. You might see them play, anywhere in the world. Italy, France, Germany, for sure. You might see games played in Germany now. So we might see international games, and these streaming services have certain rights to the games and things of that nature. And the last one I want to touch on before we switch it, they graded everything. They gave the fans a grade. The fans got a grade of A-. I might do the fans too. They had NFL draft nicks, but I want to do the red zone though, because that was in the package. for the deal. That was major in the package. So they gave them a score A minus. Scott Hansen fans rejoice. The league will continue to own and operate Red Zone. It's a little awkward that ESPN got the linear cable rights to Red Zone while the league held on to the digital distribution and owner operator status, but that just speaks to how beloved it is as a franchise. If you purchase Red Zone through your cable provider or a bundled streaming services like YouTube TV, that process shouldn't change. If you don't have a cable or YouTube TV like streaming service, you will pay $30 for access to the ESPN service. Then add NFL Plus Premium, which will give you access to Red Zone. As a bonus, ESPN has the right to the Red Zone brand and down the road could creatively launch the Red Zone of and then anything they want. So they got the rights to Red Zone brand, and they might do some spinoff, a spinoff or two off the Red Zone, brand. So that's very interesting to see. I might as well do the NFL draft Knicks and the fans while I'm at it, because that's the last two. So I'm just gonna knock them out, and then I'm gonna switch over to my next topic. So before we wrap this section up, NFL draft Knicks, they gave them a score A minus. And in a side deal, also announced Wednesday ESPN's role as a lead distributor of the NFL draft, which in 1980 helped put ESPN on the map as a home for sports. Obsessiveness has been extended through 2030, which will be ESPN's 50th anniversary of airing the draft, including daily TV coverage running from the end of the Super Bowl through draft weekend. If you hear latest mock and it sounds like nails on a chalkboard, you can always open a different section of the app. So they just threw that in there just for, everybody who just love the draft and everything that goes along with that. And the last grade they gave is for the NFL fans, and they gave all the fans out there a grade of A minus. The ESPN press release went heavy on consumer choice and convenience, which could be helpful if and when any government regulatory approval is sought. But the reality is that fans without cable or a bundled streaming service having access to ESPN's NFL games, NFL Network games, or any other programming is a good thing, so long as those fans want to pay the monthly $30 fee. Keep in mind that if you are an existing cable or bundled streaming subscriber, you will eventually get access to the ESPN app's live games without any additional fees. If you aren't a huge NFL fan, ESPN doubling down on an already massive commitment to the NFL might not be your preference, but ESPN is hardly alone in its priorities. Could the NFL owning 10% of ESPN impact the quality of the network's award-winning NFL journalism? Its newsroom has been navigating significant, even existentially corporate, existential corporate financial realities related to the league for decades. The new conditions are unlikely to meaningfully impact the way the network covers the league. So that was just a quick, you know, there's plenty more to unpack with that deal, but that was just a quick um overview of the major deal that um the major deal that went down between the NFL and ESPN, with ESPN gaining NFL Network, Red Zone, and fantasy assets. And in return for that, the NFL gained 10% of ESPN equity stake. So now the NFL owns 10% of ESPN, which is no small number. And ESPN is the leader when it comes to sports. So the NFL owning 10% of ESPN, you're gonna definitely see more and more NFL content on ESPN. That's why I'm really trying to drive that point home. You're gonna see the numbers are gonna go like them owning 10% of ESPN. You're gonna see a lot more NFL on ESPN now. In the brand that is NFL and the brand that is ESPN is merging into one. So I definitely want to highlight on that. And we have just one more, maybe two more topics to go before we wrap up this edition of the Morning Huddle. Mission Monday presents the Morning Huddle with your host, B Rich. I appreciate everybody for viewing this content. Thank you for all the support. I appreciate everything. I see everything and I appreciate everything. And if you could be so kindly to give this clip, video, live stream, podcast, whatever you want to call it at the end of the day, if you would be so kind to give it a like, hit the like button, share the content, drop a comment, let us know what you think about ESPN NFL deal, and subscribe. Hit the subscribe button, and all of that is free. It doesn't cost anything to do any of those things I just named, and it's very much appreciated. We appreciate it. So for my last section, I always keep it light, closing things out. So we're gonna keep it light. This is the final buzzer. Finish like a champion. Because you are a champion at the end of the day. Y'all know my slogan. The underdogs already won. I'm an underdog. I don't know about you, but I'm an underdog, and we already won because we here. You here watching me. We here together, so we already champions. So finish like a champion. But let's get into the final buzzer. So let me pull this up. So a streamer by the name of, I don't I pronounce it Ludwig. 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 But yeah, Ludwig 2025 streamer games. So if you don't know, Ludwig is a streamer and he does the streamer games, which is like a it's like a rendition. Hold on, let me pull it up. It's like a rendition of, how you say, it's supposed to be like, it's supposed to be like the Olympics, but it's like for streamers. It's like the Olympics for streamers, and they just do different competitions, and they do different competitions and things of that nature, and they stream the whole time. It's meant to mimic. It's meant to mimic like the Olympics, but for streamers, which I think is a great idea though. And he make them do like different competitions, and they be really competing. He make them do like obstacle course, like a whole bunch of obstacle course stuff, and he make them do all sorts of stuff. So, oh no, it's funny to me though. He make them compete like tug of war. Look at what they doing. Like make them run, climb, all sorts of stuff. Like I think one year or last year he did like red light, green light, or he did like Simon Says. He just be making them compete in different little events and competitions, and they stream the whole event, and you can track like your actual streamer. Hold on. These are the captains he got for this year. So shout out all the streamers and shout out all the captains. Hold on, let me move this. Shout out all the streamers and shout out all the captains. I'm gonna name them all just so they get their proper, you know, shout outs. And so the captains, and I might mess up some names. So y'all don't get mad at me, but yeah. So for the captains this year, he got Cena. He has extra Emily. He has Foolicy, uh, Fooly. I know I messed that up. Fulusi. Yeah, yeah. Only one I really know good is Agent. I know Agent because he's in the group, so I know Agent for sure. That's the one I'm familiar with. Oh, and Jason, I seen Jason around. I seen Jason around. And I'm pretty sure everybody do their thing. You know what I'm saying? So salute to everybody. Clap it up for everybody. Matter of fact, while I'm here. But yeah, he got Vanilla Mace. He got Jason, Agent, Disgusted Toast, and he got Jack. I seen Jack before too. Yeah, I'm more familiar with the fellas than the females. You know how that goes. But yeah, so it's gonna be held this year, August the 16th and the 17th, in Lawndale, California, and you could watch it right here on Twitch. You also can view it right here on YouTube on his YouTube page live. And if you wanna, I think this is tickets for in person. And the event includes a pre-event fan fest, photo ops with your streamers, and opportunity to buy exclusive merch and more. So that's if you just want to go and buy the tickets. But it is the 16th and the 17th, which will be this upcoming weekend. Yeah. But like I said, he does the event with the streamers, and they just do different competitions. You can track your streamer. You can track your streamer, like your favorite streamer. You can track like their progress through the whole competition to see how they doing. It's just I don't know. I think it's a great idea. I like stuff like this, honestly. I think it's good. It gets the youth, because the youth watches. Hold on, let me spotlight right quick. Let me switch. Because the youth watches these streamers, so I think it's a great idea what he's doing. While the youth is watching the streamers, is getting them, is showing, like, getting them active, or what, or he's like showing, like, okay, you like to watch your favorite streamer. Your favorite streamer is doing, physical things, or just doing physical activity, and I think it's great because it's highlighting physical activity, and a lot of their fans, or a lot of the people who watch their streams, are younger people, so it's just getting them to watch, like, just spotlighting more physical activity, spotlight more physical activity, and it's also just, hopefully it makes them want to be more active. And that's good if you can make the younger generation try to be more active, more physical activity, more running, more being outside, more being in nature. So I think it's going to encourage them to be more active in their own life. So that's why I'm really a fan of stuff like this. I think it's like the best of both worlds. You watching your favorite streamer, or your favorite personality, or your favorite person do some physical things, and sometimes, you know people see that, and then they want to imitate that. So the younger generation to see that, and then they'll want to get more active in their own life, because they'll see agent, he doing, he running and laughing outside. I want to go outside and run and laugh. So, you know Ludwig, and I might be messing up your name, Ludwig. I'm not the best with names, bro. You know me. I'm not the best with names, but I think that's it. Y'all let me know what y'all think of, you know, Ludwig 2025 streamer games, but I think it's great. You can buy the tickets and go meet your favorite streamer, or your favorite person. I don't want to always say streamer, because they do other things than stream. So, like, your favorite person, or people who you're a fan of. You can buy the ticket. You can go interact with them, go take photos with them. They'll be outside doing physical things, physical activity. It's good to see that. It's like the best of both worlds. You get content. You get physical. Y'all outside. Y'all doing things. Y'all moving. So, I'm just really pushing this. So I think everybody should just tune in. And like I said, they do different little competitions, different little, tug of war. And he can just make them do swim, and, make them run track, like who the fastest and stuff like that. So for sure, y'all tune in again to the streamer games, presented by Red Bull. So with that being said, before I get out of here for the day, I want to highlight one more thing in sports, and this right here was major, major, major. This has never happened in the history of this particular sport. Hold on, let me move this out of the way. This has never happened in this sport's history. This particular event actually made history. It has never happened. And I definitely, before I wanted to get out of here, I definitely want to spotlight this. Yeah, so give me 1 second. So I want to do a drum roll before I get into this. And I want to clap it up. Cause I'm gonna clap this up right here. Make sure y'all. You can get two clap up. Matter of fact, we're gonna give her three clap ups because this is history. She made history. Congratulations are in order to Jen Powell. She breaks the MLB gender barrier as the first female umpire. So let's clap this up for a third time. Again, we definitely want to send all congratulations to Jen Powell as she becomes the first female umpire to make SHESTORY. It ain't no more his story. It's SHESTORY. Again, Jen Powell breaks MLB's gender barrier as the first female umpire to work a regular season game. So, again, one more time, we're going to clap it up. She makes SHESTORY. See how I did that? Not history, but SHESTORY. That's what we calling it. Mission Mondays, the Morning Huddle. So clap it up one more time before I read it. So I'm going to read this and then we're going to get up out of here. Umpire Jen Powell looks on during the first inning of a baseball game of a doubleheader between the Atlanta Braves and the Miami Marlins Saturday, August 9th, 2025 in Atlanta. And this photo was AP photo, Colin Hubbard. So this article was written by Charles Odom for AP, which is Associated Press in Atlanta, AP. Jen Powell felt love and support from fans, family, peers, and players as she made SHESTORY as the first female umpire to work a regular season game in the major leagues. Quote, "It was amazing when we took the field," Powell said. "It seemed like quite a few people were clapping and calling my name. That was pretty intense and emotional." Powell's much anticipated debut game came as the first base umpire for Saturday's first game of a split doubleheader between the Atlanta Braves and Miami Marlins. It was a smooth debut. She did a good job, Braves manager Brian Stinker said. You can tell she knows what she does. Powell said she had a group of about 30 friends and family members, including her father, at the game, and she immediately identified a major difference of working in a major league stadium. Those familiar faces were not so easy to find at Truist Park. When I looked up, they weren't in the lower tier like in the minor leagues, Powell said. When I looked up, it took me a while. Whoa, they're up there. I'll never forget that. That was just awesome. The dream actually came true today. I'm still living in it. I'm so grateful to my family and Major League Baseball for creating such an incredible work environment. I'm just so thankful. Powell's first real test came in the third inning of Atlanta's 7-1 win. Yeah, Atlanta got the win. Yeah, hold on. You just gotta shout that out. Yeah, I'm always repping for the home team. Atlanta got the win. Go Atlanta Braves. All right, let's get back into the story before we get out of here. When she called Braves catcher Sean Murphy safe on a close play, Marlins manager Clayton McCollum did not challenge the call. Power also showed she will make animated call when Miami's Xavier Edwards grounded into a double play in the third inning. Power pumped her fist and lifted her leg when she called Edwards out. Powell couldn't help but notice her debut was being watched closely. Fans responded with a warm ovation when the video board focused on the umpire between innings, forcing her to take a quick glance at her image. Powell worked third base in the second game of the doubleheader. She will be in the spotlight when she called pitches behind the plate in Sunday's final game of the series. So she was behind the plate just yesterday, Sunday. As a rover, she will be wanting for her next assignment. She will be waiting for her next assignment. While she waits, the umpire cap she wore in her first game will be on the way to the Baseball Hall of Fame. So the umpire cap she wore in her first game, they put it in the Hall of Fame. This is one of the proudest moments in all my career, crew chief Chris Goinson said. I've been blessed with working playoffs. I've worked 2 World Series, All-Star games, and this is right up there. It gives me chills even thinking about it. And the magnitude, it just hit me how, and the magnitude, it just hit me just now, the magnitude of this thing and how hard she worked. This is just a great role model for girls and women out there, and I'm just so proud of her. This is a special moment. I'm so proud of her. This was much anticipation for her historic debut on Saturday. A crowd of photographers gathered while waiting for the umpire to walk onto the field from their entry ramp near the Marlins dugout. McCollum and Braves bench coach Walt West greeted Powell when lineups were exchanged at home plate before the game. Powell then jogged down the first base line. She shook hands with Marlins first base coach Tyler Smarsalok before taking her position on the right field line for the first pitch. Powell said Thursday she was overcome with emotion when noticed she would make her major league debut this weekend. Powell, 48, has been working in the minor leagues since she was assigned to the Gulf Coast League in 2016. She was assigned the Triple A championship game in 2023 and worked spring training games in 2024 and again this year. Anytime anybody grinds their way through the minor leagues, I don't care who it is, that's a tough thing. Sniker said, I'm happy for anybody who grinds it out. Asked if she is prepared for the confrontation with a manager upset about a call, including some known to kick dirt onto umpires, Powell said it wouldn't be the first time. So she said she prepared for this. more than dozens of times, she said. It doesn't go very well for him. That night is usually over for me. It's just part of the game. Powell, who is from New Jersey, had only a few days to prepare for Saturday's doubleheader. She said she was told of her long-awaited promotion during a Wednesday conference call with Director of Umpire Development Rich Riker and Vice President of Umpire Operations Matt McKendry. Powell was a three-time All-Conference softball selection pick at Hofstra. She worked as an NCAA softball umpire from 2010 to 2016. Powell's rise to make MLB history came 28 years after the NBA gender barrier for game official was broken and 10 years after the NFL hired its first full-time female official. The men's soccer's World Cup first hired a female referee 3 years ago. The NHL has not had any women as in on ice officials. So that was just a quick congratulations in order for Jen Powell, who broke the female barrier for being the first female umpire in a major league game. So, congratulations. But before we get out of here for Mission Mondays, the morning huddle, y'all know I gotta run my thing. So let's get into it. Mission Mondays, the morning huddle, rise and shine. Let's get it. The morning huddle, Mission Monday. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Get your shot together. Mission Monday, the morning huddle. And thank you all, everybody out there, for tuning in to another episode of Mission Mondays, the morning huddle. I am your host, B Rich. We here every Monday morning talking about everything sports. So until next time, you have a wonderful, great day, great night. I'll see you here. I'm out.